Thought I would show you how I plan on making the difference up at the spar in the top tip. Remember, we had that gap of material we needed to remove from this point to keep center line, and this is basically what I'm doing. You can see the amount of material there that needs to be removed to keep those lined up, so you can see where the cheek cuts on both sides need to be, obviously keeping center line in play. So what I've done is I've marked the cheek cuts, and now I'm going to have to slowly, keeping this center line in play, take off a small amount each time, it's balsa wood, until I get down to that profile. At that point, the rest of it would be hand sanding and we should be good to go. Okay, this worked out really well. Everything went, luckily, as I planned it, so I'm tickled to death. Let me show you what we ended up with. And I tried to mark these lines a little heavier so you guys could see them, okay, in the corners. But because we stayed true to the center line all the way around the piece, it's nice and straight. That's a nice straight piece, and it's going to be a nice straight rudder. As far as the carving is concerned, once you've gotten these glued together, all you really need to do is shape down to the edges, keeping the balsa spar as your guide. So as long as you keep the balsa spar as your guide, you're good to go. And it's basically just rounding over. Not a whole lot of process to it. Obviously, I've glued these on, okay, as far as the balsa spars and the tips. But I have obviously not glued on the carbon spar. It lines up perfectly with the plans, so I'm tickled with that. And now it's time to start on the ribs and the gussets, and we'll be done with this in no time. Thought I'd better go over something really quick just so we're all on the same page. Obviously, the next step is to make the ribs, and there's probably different ways to do it. This is the way I'm going to do it. The issue we have is the spar is obviously tapered. It's not the same thickness at the bottom as it is at the top, which means as the ribs are on this piece, the back thickness of those ribs are going to change. So what I elected to do was to take a pair of calipers, and each section or each place where there was a rib, I recorded that measurement. Okay, so I know what the thickness of the back of that rib needs to be. All right, and I wrote those down here on the plans, as you can see. That way I've got the reference, and I can come back to that as I'm building these individual ribs. But that's how I'm going to control the angle as it comes down. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? I'm pretty much done. I still have to put the control surfaces on, obviously, which is no big deal. But other than that, I think I'm pretty much done. Everything went great. It's exactly as per the plan, other than I did the joint a little bit different. And the reason I did that was because I felt like it was going to make the rib process a little easier by basically making a big C and using the spar as kind of an accordion to be able to put those in. So I had all of those in place before I glued anything up and got all the lines to match the way I needed, by like I said, by being able to remove that piece. So everything went great. It's nice and straight. I did mark center line of each rib as I made them, and I matched those to the inside of the spar, and came out very, very nice and straight, and feels very sturdy. It should be good shape. It matches the contour of the fuselage just the way it should, so I'm very happy. At this point, we are on to the carbon capping, so onward and upward.